Thank you for that rousing introduction. How's everybody holding up?
Good. How about you?
Oh, good.
You really like Nike?
What's that?
You really like Nike?
I like anything that's free.
Sponsorship.
So let's just
Just ignore it.
Happens like every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They're just introducing you.
They're taking the siren off.
what is that? What are they doing?
That's the episode.
What are they doing?
Steampunk circus. It goes in time.
The team is kind of firing.
Armageddon just took on a whole new meaning. Okay, so just fire out some questions. Oh, no kids? Shite. I'm not playing well at all right now. Probably 16, but I got down to probably a 6, 5, 6, somewhere there. But I don't know what's going wrong. It's all going wrong. The wheels have fallen off. No, it's not that bad.
Because you're not aiming through the Stargate.
Okay, so for my ball was real. Rick's was CGI.
Oh, man.
Just everybody know that. Yep, they finally ended up CGIing after about 25 takes.
So he's complaining about his backswing, that was real.
Yeah, that was real.
Did you enjoy the 200th episode?
Oh, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
That was my favorite episode to shoot. It was truly the first time that a lot of people ever came to set. Like, we had people that had worked there for 10 years that had never come to set, and it really was just a week of fun, and we had the normal, the crew and all the departments had the normal time to prepare that they do for every other episodes, but like literally we did 5 episodes in that one episode, and so all the departments were going 24 hours a day, and still like everyone had a smile on their face, and then all the different kind of people would come to see their particular skits that they had liked in the script, and so it was just a great week. I don't think we laughed as hard as we did that week.
A quick switch to Atlantis. So was waiting time on there.
Atlanta.
Oh, it was more fun for me probably than for them. Because they worked a lot differently than we did. Like, their set was pretty serious, and Atlantis got a lot of our original crew so that they could get up to speed right away. And but the different, like Flanagan is pretty, like on a show, your top guy kind of sets the mood on set, and Flanagan is just he's a lot more serious of a guy than Rick is. So we're playing around and laughing and stuff was encouraged on our set. Like, their set was like a mortuary. Until I got there. And
Yes, they run off.
Oh, Amanda
what's that?
was there.
Huh?
Amanda was there too.
Who was?
Amanda.
Well, on the episode that I did, she wasn't. On Midway, she wasn't there. Yeah. So I think it was good for the crew that it started with Stargate to kind of just have a more relaxed week than normal, because also Momoa is like just a big kid.
Yeah.
Also, so, and most of it was me and Momoa, and then shooting at people and stuff. The one thing though that almost it's and that's the thing with the danger of screwing around. Like, it is a place where you have to be cautious, especially when you're handling weapons and stuff. And in between, once we're shooting down a hall where it was me and Jason shooting at whoever, and so in between takes we're screwing around and messing around, and so in between takes, you take your earplugs out. Well, we screwed around so much Jason forgot to put his earplugs in. And the barrel of my gun is like right by his ear. And so, action, and I fired, and Jason let out this yell. And he couldn't hear for like a day and a half. Yeah, it was, so that was, but other than that, it's great.
So you had the big fight sequence with them. How long did that take you to sort of go through?
They're never ending fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, generally, fights are broken up into pretty small pieces. And so you shoot that piece, and then you set up for another angle to shoot that piece. And so it's not really all that tiring. But the way Bam Bam coordinated it, I still think that's the greatest name ever for a stunt coordinator, Bam Bam. Either that or Crash. He designed this fight so that it was like a 7-minute continuous fight. And we shot that for 6 hours straight. And it was grueling. But I generally didn't like to rehearse my fights a lot. But when Bam Bam brought me the DVD of the stuntmen doing it, I thought maybe I should rehearse this one. So we actually rehearsed for about 2 weeks. And it was, but Jason is so athletic and quick that I just figured I should really know this. But yeah, it was great though. I love working with that kid.
I think it was you on A Dog's Breakfast, that movie.
Did you say you think it was me?
I'm pretty sure. I don't think I know.
I did the show called Stargate too.
Did you have to audition for that? Because you're in there like championship.
No. How it came about, I actually knew Hewlett's wife before he knew her. She was actually had been married to an old writing partner of mine, and so I knew her from LA. And so when she and David started dating, it was just like old home. Like literally, she came and knocked on my trailer door, and I hadn't seen her in like 2 years. And opened the door, and Jane is there. You came here to see me? She's like, no, you idiot! I'm dating David Hewlett. So we were all great friends. So when David had asked me to, he said, hey, look, we wrote this script, and there's a part for we kind of have this part that we really like you to play. So, but read the script and let us know what you think. So I'm reading the script, and it gets to this part where they're describing this character, and it just goes on and on about how good looking and charming and blah, blah, blah. And then it says, much like Chris Judge of Stargate. So I kind of had to do it. But no, that was, I love him. He's just hilarious. And him and McGilligan together it was just a laugh for me. It was just ridiculous. Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
Hey.
Can you tell us how much you love the plot of Revolution?
The plot of Revolution? The show Revolution?
Yeah, the show on at the moment.
I think it's ridiculous. The power goes off. Here, somebody turn the lights out. I
thought you should share that.
We were talking about it the other night, and it's because I was like stoked to see it, like because it looked great and da da da. And it was like I kept waiting for like something, and like the plot of it is the lights go out. So I was just kind of like, why don't you just call it like what it is? It's like they wanted to do a TV version of kind of the Hunger Games, And it's like, and what we were talking about was, it doesn't make it sci-fi just because you call it sci-fi. When there's no sci-fi elements to it at all, it's like they think they're fooling people. It's like you put on Gilligan's Island and said it was sci-fi. Like people would just be like, well, there had to be a reason that the boat crashed.
I think it was lost.
I mean, and I hope I didn't offend anyone that likes the show, but it's ridiculous. So we go on. Okay, now you tell me what beat that's to.
Zombie burlesque beat.
Oh, hey. Let's all turn our chairs this way.
Slow wrestling match between two half-naked women.
What's that?
It's not very burlesque, it's just like a slow wrestling match between half-naked women.
And that concludes our talk. There was one.
So, what was your favourite episode out of all of them?
Oh, it was the 200. It was the 200. Yeah, the 200 was definitely. And I don't know how many of you were in the panel, but what I said about cod pieces, it's not an embellishment. It really is true. I really was our costume designer for 10 years for cod pieces. And she just went overboard. She was like with yeah. That was a good one.
Did you get to decide which one you were going to be, or did they say, no, you're the Superman,
No, they decided it. Yeah. That's still of all the pictures that we have. Those are still my favorite pictures of the Wizard of Oz one. Well, and the takeoff we did a farce game. Okay, I wasn't that one.
That was clever.
Well, just Amanda's boobs. I called that poor girl. I literally just would not leave her alone. And just every time I talked to her, I'd just stare right at her. She'd be like, Christopher, would you stop? My eyes are. I know.
So Gigi Edgley says, oh, so that's what I'd look like.
But all of it was fun.
I like the Thunderbird bit one. The Thunderbird puppet tape.
Oh.
When they all, I know you're not in it, but they all lose their strings. That crack.
Actually, I think Rick has one of the puppets. I think Brad Wright has one, and I think John Smith has one. I think, but everyone was trying to get those puppets.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted one. So yeah.
Did you get to take home anything else from any of the episodes, or have you got uniform?
No, the staff weapons they guarded like it was just because we were flown down to LA and they had packed staff weapons for the shoot, and they were stolen at the airport. So yeah, they took those really seriously because they were really expensive to make. All I have left now, because I used to have like probably 30 or 40 watches, but I've given away to be sold for auction. And I used to have the SGC flag. I let that be auctioned. But the one thing I do have is all the suits that Teal wore, because they weren't made on set. We actually went to the best. We had the best tailor in the Northwest. Like he designed suits for the NBA, for pro football teams. So when we would do these, like the formal military stuff, Teal didn't have a formal military uniform. So I just kind of threw it out there. It's like, well, I think Teal could have a suit. You know, he's not going to show up in like his base jumper to this formal thing. So they went for it. So every time, and then I convinced them that he wouldn't wear the same suit every time. So I have probably 6 suits, 6 or 7 suits that were made, and my prize possession though was Nightwalkers. We did Nightwalkers, right? We did that, so it was called Nightwalkers. With Corin.
Yep.
With Corin, yeah. That long trench coat that I have, it's like a $10,000 trench coat. Wow. They built it for me, and it's literally just 2 sides of a cow. So it only has one seam on it. And at the end of the episode, Christina McQuarrie, our wardrobe designer, came to my trailer and said, "For you." So that's my prized possession.
Yeah.
You could have gone back, known hindsight.
I would have stolen everything.
You got 1 hour grabbing the table to do what was that stuff? Fake news.
Staff weapons.
The cage.
Walk out with it.
On the back of a mountain.
Just roll it out.
That's a great. That's the first time I've ever been asked that question. That's a great question.
Just roll it
If
out.
I had to go back, probably. Wow.
Braytek's headpiece.
What's that?
Braytek's headpiece.
No, that's what I would have taken. I would have stolen. I would have taken Teal's working helmet.
Yeah.
Working.
That's what
Oh,
I would
yeah.
take. Yeah, that's what I would take.
So you didn't get any of his armor? Or?
No, you didn't. I didn't want it. It stunk. Oh yeah. Here, like, so you would have all the Jaffa, right? And so you have these, but they don't have like name tags in them or something. And like you sweat like immediately. So the next day, those like mine was labeled, but like all those hundreds of dudes, the next day you have to wear someone else's sweat. Like and they maybe washed everyone else's stuff once a year. No joke. So they would get washed and they have to be repainted in between. And the reason you can't wash them often is because they have to be repainted every time that they're washed. And let me tell you, those things stunk to high heaven. I mean, like it just if we had to be on a set and with Jaffa, it was almost unbearable. I mean, it was horrible. But just the idea of someone else was sweating in this yesterday, and then they go, oh god, it was terrible. They're all the actual metal stuff that was loose, that was all actually metal. The kind of under stuff was this really heavy wool that they would spray paint silver. So it was just so cumbersome. And so, but as you notice through the years, my outfits kept changing and getting lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. Why I did it? Well, first of all, I hated the armor. But when Braytek would come on, his would always be slightly different. But his was also the lightest because he would only have like a chainmail, like maybe it's on the shoulders, and maybe just a little other stuff. So I would just make these ridiculous arguments, and they would go for it. But I said, well, as he's rising up the ranks of the Jaffa, like wouldn't his outfit change? Like as the higher up you go, like wouldn't they be kind of more stylish and sleeker? And yeah, they would be. So it got progressively lighter throughout the year, and I never wore the skull caps because once you started sweating, the glue would run into your eyes. And I mean, poor Tony. I mean, like. I don't know how he dealt with it because I mean it just immediately would just start, and well, all the guys that had to wear skull caps, it was terrible, but it looked good.
Did you have any creative input into the name Murray?
Oh, that's cool.
Good question, Murray.
Mark Lloyd.
That was a fun episode.
Yeah. On that movie.
The whole vibrating bit. Oh, we had some fun with that one. And surprisingly, a lot of it didn't make it to the show. I don't know why.
Yeah. We're just watching, I think it's season 4, where you've got the whole little thing here with them. Was that your idea, or did they decide that you needed something new?
The one thing that I would change, if I could go back about the show, was doing that. Because so every year, I don't think it's a secret how much I hated shaving my head.
Yeah.
So every year, I would let my hair grow, and I would always do something different with it every year during the off season.
Yeah.
So that particular year, I dyed my hair blonde, and I had this blonde, and I thought it looked great. So I go into Brad Wright's office at the beginning of the year, like I did every year. And I said, Brad, I can have hair this year, huh? He's like, no, Chris, you can't have hair. And he said, but you can keep the goatee. And I thought it was such a great idea until I saw it. And then I went to Brad's office and I was like, Brad, why didn't you tell me it looked ridiculous? He was like, you wanted hair. So yeah, I still can't bring myself to watch any of those episodes where I have to. It's just so ridiculous.
Because they pointed out, like, what's that? Shanks does, he points it out.
Yeah, and I think, didn't someone slap his hand? Didn't
Yeah,
Rick slap his
Jay.
hand or something? Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Oh.
So what did Rick have to say about the?
Oh, he thought it was ridiculous. But Rick would just say, are you sure you want to keep that? It's like, yeah, man, it's cool. He's like, you sure it's cool?
And that wasn't him.
Yeah, so I think it was a big conspiracy just to get me to shut up about having hair. But I wish I could change that. I wish I could go back and digitally remaster
That cannon that you were holding for a while from, was it a glider? How heavy was that?
Heavy.
Yeah.
That was very, very heavy. And the thing is, they never really, I think some of the props people would forget that I wasn't really Teal'c. Because, you know, you see 3 of them carrying this thing. It's like, so yeah, when the glider goes over, just lift it and go like that. It just took 3 of you to carry it.
You got painted for it though.
And then the other thing was when I would do the 2-arm kind of crucifix thing with the guns, like those guns were like super heavy because it wasn't the P90s, it was the, I forgot what they were. But you can't really, you couldn't really do it with live ammunition. You couldn't do it. But I mean, all that stuff was heavy, and even the saw, which was my favorite gun. Like we did this scene. I forgot where we were shooting in one of somebody's game room or something, and so everyone else had P90s and 16s, I believe, and 17s, whatever. And so those fire a full load for them was like, I think 40. I think we could fire 40 shots. So, but the saw could fire like 500. So I remember Martin Wood said, give it all. So, 10 seconds into the scene, everyone else's gun is empty.
Yeah.
I went on for another 45 seconds. Oh, yeah, my pants didn't fit the same after that. Getting a little excited thinking about it, actually.
What did you think of like the helmet things? Were they like real hard to actually wear, or like the snakeheads?
I never actually had to. The only time that I think I only wore the snakeheads a couple times, and the one that I wore was the real mechanical one, and it weighed 70 pounds, and it had no neck support. So the first time I put it on, once again, it takes 3 guys to put it on me. It takes 3 guys to put it on me. Hey, I'll be double-fisted later. What? He's drinking. I don't know what What does that mean here? What does it mean?
Just think Sebastian.
Oh.
My bum. You are some freaky people. No, I meant when you you have 2 drinks. That's called double fisting.
You're never gonna think about that. When I was in New Zealand, I did
Does it really mean that? And all of you know it? So you know the first thing I do when I get back to my room is Google double fisting.
Make sure you delete your browsing history before you go.
Who would have guessed? I'm just trying to imagine it.
Ow.
So double fisting. There's people who get 2 fists. Oh, now none of you know. Apparently.
It's called lube, Chris.
Thank you.
Also practice.
Murray, you should not be hearing this. You are way too young to be hearing this. And Murray's dad just laughing. You'll learn sooner or later.
I've asked worse questions.
He was in Sebastian's Spaniel.
Wow. What? What is it?
Just like the Sebastian's corrupting everyone.
I can't consider it. Please, somebody
Just to
ask me
make the
something.
same thing with the Amanda tapping was sitting up there.
Show you the picture.
Let me see.
Oh, bloody hell, Mel.
Need some glasses.
I can honestly say this may be the weirdest panel I've ever done. I thought that learning about furries would have been.
Hey, but you said it.
I guess, but after seeing that picture, bravo. Wait, did you just look it up too? Did you just look it up?
Yeah, I looked it up.
No, no. Oh, no. I thought you were looking for that.
She wants to see too now.
So when my wife asked me, so what are you talking about your panel? There's something I want to try.
She'll get you 2 drinks.
Guess where I'll put them. What? Oh no. I'll be pitching. Okay, somebody else be the third question.
On the note of weird pedals, what was the weirdest experience you had?
Let's do the second weirdest. I can't remember where I was in Europe. Murray, you're the only kid here, right? And we've already ruined you. A woman stood, it was quite a crowded stage, talk, like audience-wise, and this woman just stood up and said, "How big are you?" And I said, like my arms? She's like, shoe size? And I mean, and then, so the the audience laughed, and she still just sat there like. I'm not gonna answer that.
Talk to my wife.
What?
Talk to my wife.
She better not start getting tweets asking her how. Anyone?
Was it fun guest starring on the news list?
You know, yeah, it was. But because Jay Ackerman was who played Kowalski was on the same episode, and we had no idea. Like I hadn't seen Jay in a couple of years, and I'm going down the call sheet, and I see Jay Ackerman. I'm like, well, how many Jay Ackermans are there? So I went and knocked on his trailer door, and he opens it. He just stands there. So we kind of behaved like it was the Stargate set. And Simon is not like that. He's pretty reserved, and they keep it pretty quiet on set. And me and Jay are just, laughing and joking, throwing shit at the crew. Yeah, I'm not sure that Simon was too impressed with our shenanigans. So that might be my only appearance on the But it was fun.
Between you were fighting Michael Jackson and Robert, and how did you go about doing that role?
Yeah, it was. A lot of the Andromeda. Vancouver is very incestuous as far as crews and actors going with what used to be now kind of sci-fi shot everywhere. But back in those days, you could go to another show and you'd see a lot of dudes on the crew that used to be on your show and vice versa. And the guy directing it was what had been a Stargate director. So in the fight, it was all great until it came time for the dying scene. And so they're trying to do this shot, and the director keeps wanting to get me and Shanks closer. And he said, no, you have to be closer, like you have to be on top of him. And at one point I said, this is for the show, right? This is not for your own personal life. But no, it was a lot of fun, and especially like Sorbo and I became golf buddies, and there was a marriage between whoever, I don't know, I can't remember who it was, Shanks and Lexa, and Keith became a good friend of mine, and Laura and everybody. So it was it was always a lot of fun to do other shows that were and how a lot of Shuki and I talked about this was you would see the other actors and the producers and stuff at the bar, and literally that's how a lot of stuff happened. You would just see the other producers and start talking, and it'd be like, hey, you want to do an episode, or you want to do this, and and that's how a lot of it would come about.
I'm gonna get a flight.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
See you next year.
Double fisting is 2 drinks.
So, how much is triple fisting?
Please do not Google that.
So I'm thinking you'll be speaking the lingo in countries before you go there now.
That's, and I'm sure a lot of actors do that because you just use your own kind of colloquialisms and then they mean something completely different. Like I used to, everyone used to carry fanny packs.
Not in New Zealand.
Not here, but in New Zealand.
Never?
No. You know.
Only woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you don't say it.
What do you guys call them?
Bum bag.
It's a bum bag.
Bum, okay.
Yeah, because fanny means something completely
Funny,
That's what I found out when I went to England.
Yeah.
I was talking just about carrying my passport, my fanny pack, and and I kept saying, I said, what's wrong with fanny pack? So I thought fanny meant your backside, your ass, and so then what does fanny mean? Fanny means that. So yeah, I'm surprised I've gone this long without putting my foot in my mouth. just wanted to make sure that didn't mean something else. No, I'm not that flexible. Think about that for a second. Yeah.
How did it, like with Christopher Nolan on Dark Knight, like how was that comparable to TV?
It wasn't. On TV, you have to have such the scheduling is so tight and you move so quick, you don't have time to change up a lot of stuff. Well, Nolan, I'll give you an example. So my call time one day was like 5 o'clock. Well, in LA, that's rush hour. So so I got there like literally 3.5, 4 hours before my call time because I didn't want to deal with traffic. So I just figured, sit in my trailer and watch some movies, do whatever. I'm there for 2 minutes and knock on the door. Chris would like to see you on set. Mr. Nolan would like to see you on set. And I'm like, first of all, how does he know I'm here? Second of all, my call time is like 4 hours from now. And she's like, well, do you want to go tell Mr. Nolan that you don't want to come to set? Right. So I go to set, and he's just thought up a new scene that I can't say it wasn't scripted because we never got scripts, but no, we didn't ever. And so to learn your lines, the AD would call and read you your lines for the next day, but not say where it was said, not say, because they couldn't. So I said, okay, but I you want to ask like, so where's like, what did I do before this, or where do I go after this? Like so you know how to play the scene, like where you come from and where you're going, but you just don't ask. I've never really worked that way, but it explains why like the audition process was probably the most intense audition process I've ever gone through. I went in 7 times, and I went in 3 times before I got to Nolan, and then I read 4 times with Nolan. And so after the 5th time in Toto, I thought I had the part because we started negotiating the deal. And so a week later, Chris wanted to see me again. So the sides were different, fine. So they start negotiating again. After that, a week and a half later, Mr. Nolan would like to see you again. And I said, well, what is the audition piece? What is, he said, it's the same piece, but he'd like you to do it with an Eastern European accent. I said, why? Because let's face it, there's not many casting calls for a black guy who can do an Eastern European accent. So I really wasn't familiar with it, so I stayed up all night. I broke every word. I watched Vladimir Putin's speech to the Olympic Committee. And let me tell you, if you want to hear something dry, but I finally learned. I stayed up all night, and then just went straight to the audition, so it'd still be fresh in my mind. And we did it, and so then I finally booked the role. But the way he works, I understand why he wants you to know that whoever he hires can do whatever he thinks of, because it does come up. And but it was great. It really was great. I mean, most of the time I was just in awe of being there. And once he tells you what to do, he really doesn't direct you after that. And he doesn't ever say great, or he doesn't say. You just kind of move on. So it's a weird way to work, especially because actors need constant reaffirming that they're doing a good job, or that whole thing. But it was I learned a lot though. I learned, or even watching Christian, how he works, or Michael Caine, or whoever it was, because once he hires you, he just lets you go. He just lets you do whatever it is. It was great.
Mm-hmm. But what else did you film for that role that we didn't end up seeing in the movie?
Well, I filmed a whole nother part where if you, like the first time that they break through the wall, and it's weird because the shots showing everyone on that side of the wall, they're all wide shots, but all the shots of Tom are really tight. That's because I'm standing right by Tom. And I'm a lot bigger than Tom, which when I first went for wardrobe, so my original costume was like 7 layers of stuff, and then this motorcycle kind of chest piece that they had painted blackish orange, but I looked massive. So they take the pictures, and one of the producers comes in and just starts texting. Now 3 producers come in. They're all whispering. 5 producers come in. It's like they're all just like, and I'm just like, I'm standing there like, man. So then the conversation became, who's going to tell Chris that he's a lot bigger than Tom is. So no one did. And so when we got to set, it was that same thing. I mean, and while they're setting up the shot, I knew that I couldn't be near Tom. I mean, like while we're even milling about, I tried to stay as far away from Tom as I could because I knew it was going to be a problem. And so finally we go to shoot. I'm right by Tom, and literally, it's camera up, and usually it's action. So it's like camera's up, you slate. There's no action. There's no action again. And so everyone's kind of just looking around like what they're doing is seeing on the monitor how much bigger than Tom I am. So, but it's still, I mean, I still filmed with him for probably a week and a half. And then there was a whole nother part that he wrote. So I got to film for an extra 2 weeks, but I kind of knew that probably all my stuff with Tom probably wasn't going to make it. So, but it's like, it was The Dark Knight Rises, not Assassin Number 3 Rises. So it's always great to do those movies, but unless you're, Batman or Robin or Commissioner Gordon or whoever, you're not assured that you will ever make it to any screen time. But I want to give you my assurances that all the checks cleared.
Do you get to see those scenes?
No. And that's it. Well, actually, I wonder if they will, when they release it on DVD, maybe it'll be deleted scenes or something. I'm not sure, because I've never watched those behind the scenes of any other Dark Knights. That would be kind of cool.
It'd be great to read.
Huh?
Who's you? Who's there?
Yeah, it
You'd be
was.
like going swinging over him, and he'd go, keep trying.
But if you notice though, Bane is by himself a lot to try to make him look big. Because Tom, I mean, he's a big guy. He's not a tall guy. So, but yeah, it was great. Well, it was great right up until Tom got punched in the eye. But no, Joe, actually, did you guys know that you did? You guys do know?
No.
So my last night of shooting, we're doing the fight scene where Batman comes back after his little exile or whatever. And so we had worked on that. We worked on it probably a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks for just that one fight scene. And Christian had never been there, and Joe had never been there. So literally, they showed Christian the fight probably twice, and the cat got every move. Like after seeing it twice, I mean, it was unbelievable how quickly he picked it up. And Joe picked up his pretty quickly too. But so we do a couple takes of it, and the stunt coordinator comes over and tells Joe, you gotta sell the punch, and walks away. Well, I knew I was going to get hit. Because what you tell an actor is you explain it like you're talking to a child. You say the camera's here, you're at this angle. So if you're throwing a punch, you start deeper and you end over here. And you can miss by 2 feet. And as long as I snap my head, it looks like a hit. Well, when he walked away from Joe, without telling him that, this is what Joe heard. you gotta throw your punches closer to his face. Sure enough, next take, I catch it in the eye, and my eye immediately starts spurting blood.
Oh.
And so they think that my tear duct has been ruptured. And so I went straight to the emergency room, and like they were ready to operate. But you know, they examined the eye, and what it was, I had 3 cuts on my eyeball. And so now keep in mind, this is probably, I get back to set probably 1 in the morning. I still have to go back to my house, which is an hour away, get my stuff, because I'm leaving on a flight for my next movie the next morning at 6 in the morning. So I get back to my trailer with an eye patch, and I'm packing up my stuff, and knock, knock, knock. Mr. Nolan would like to see you. So I go, oh, how cool. He wants to, you know, thank me for my hard work. So I get back, and Joe is just beside himself. He's such a sweet kid. Well, he's not a kid anymore, but he was just beside himself. He's like, you know, when this stuff happens, you know, it's just whatever. And Christian comes over, and, you know, asks him all right, everything. And then Nolan comes over and says, hey, how you doing, man? Is everything, you know, you're good? No permanent damage? You know? He's like, no. He's like, good. Ready to get back to work? He's like, I have a email. Then I thought, Inception 2. Yes, sir, Mr. Nolan, I'm ready to go. And then they didn't even use it. Like this, you never see where I go. And so they had, I guess it just didn't work. I mean, because I was trying to, but I have this big patch over my eyes. So it was, yeah. Inception 2. But no, actually, he has a protege who's doing the movie Staring into the Sun, which I think I'm doing when I get back. So that, I mean, that's great. But he's just a really remarkable guy. Just he's a master. It's like watching Picasso paint, or whatever, just to see how his mind works and to see how he decided where he wants to put the camera. So what a great learning experience it was.
Teal has some pretty.
Teal was pretty, wasn't he?
He has some pretty quick lines. I mean, any of them that you just couldn't help but laugh at because.
Most of them. Most of them. When I would see some of the lines that they would have, I always thought that like the undomesticated equines. Because when they were on my close-up, Rick would keep making faces, because I don't think it was a line that Rick particularly liked. And so he would just make these funny faces, like he's supposed to be unconscious. He's like going, every time I would say the line, and so I would bust up every time. So there was a lot of those. And then they allowed me to, basically what my lines were okay, for Rick, his written lines were kind of like the expiration date on milk. It was just a suggestion. Rick just did or said whatever he wanted. You just kind of had to go with it. For me, they would write kind of what they wanted said, and then they would just leave it up to me to put it in Jaffa speak. But all the stuff like that, like the undomesticated equine stuff and all that kind of stuff, that would be stuff that they wrote and wanted me to say. But they gave me a great deal of freedom too. I tell the story of Glasner. Well, Glasner was the worst at it because he wouldn't even try. He would just, anytime they had a new prop or something, they would literally just put consonants together and throw a vowel somewhere. And so about the Zats, the original name for them was, but it was longer than that.
Oh.
It was actually longer than that. And God, I wish there was a whole nother like 8-9 letters after Zat, you could tell. And so I went up to Jonathan and I said, how do you pronounce this? I don't know, you're the alien. So yeah, that's how Zach Dippertel came about. That was just kind of what I put together with all those letters. Yeah. You're kidding.
Did you look at when they were auctioning off all the Stargate plots? Did you ever look at any of those?
No, because if I couldn't steal them, I wouldn't buy them. I did want that helmet though. And when I did that, what's it called? Treasure? Something Treasure. Where they, it's on Sci-Fi Channel back in the States. But they did a whole show where they auctioned off a bunch of. What's it called? Is that what I think that is what it's called. So they had all the crates of it there. And I was just so pissed because none of it had been cataloged yet. Like it had just gotten there. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. But they had like the chair that O'Neill, the ancient chair. They have that there. But at their warehouse where they have all kinds of cool like sci-fi stuff. Like they had the White House from Independence Day there. They just had a ton of stuff. And it's just like, your mind just, no, I can't do that. How would the White House fit in my car? But there was a ton of cool
Next to the
stuff.
gate.
But yeah.
Yeah, fire up the gates.
Say what?
Mention you have to have 2 gates.
That's actually right, isn't it? Having one gate does you absolutely no good whatsoever.
Except other planets.
What was it like when you shoot screens where they do a scene and they actually add in whatever you were fighting or chasing later on?
Well,
Basically just seemed to
yeah. Well, we learned to really, later on, we actually got to see drawings of what we were up against. But I remember the first time that we all got made to look really foolish was Thor's hammer. I think that was one of the first episodes, if not the first episode that Peter DeLuise directed. So it's hard to take anything that DeLuise says seriously anyway. So DeLuise, so we're on the thing, and DeLuise says, "So there's gonna be a big ship. It's gonna be big ship." How can you take that seriously? So our looks were kind of like, we're looking at a ship. Then we see the episode, and this ship takes up the entire horizon. So it looked really idiotic. Big ship! Our looks. So we learned that when the director said something was going to be big, except for one time. And that was, and what was the name of those episodes? They were with Ben and Claudia and what's her, and Morena. Morena played the whatever chick.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever chick. So I think it was Andy Makita was directing, I believe. So there's gonna be a dragon. So in our minds, we're thinking dragon. So all of our expressions are dragon. We see the episode. There's this little ass dragon. And we're looking like it's Godzilla. And we were like, so it's gonna be a big dragon, right? It's gonna be a huge dragon. Literally, it looked like this little goofy thing. So that's kind of the only 2 times we really got caught.
Did you ever wonder why every time you found or got a new spaceship, you blew it up before the end of the episode?
We did do that a lot, didn't we? Well, a lot of this stuff, because it would be, or why did we walk everywhere?
Yeah.
Couldn't you take golf carts through it?
A bicycle, a scooter. That would have been cool to see Teal on the scooter on 3X797.
You could have had armored segways.
Just like a Segway.
Just like a dirt bike.
But that always struck me as odd. Like,
Didn't they ever think of taking a trail bike?
something?
Just a
you know?
quad bike.
Just you know, walking everywhere. And then no, but the other thing
Hog.
is that the Goa'uld were all powerful, mighty, had all this technology, but they had to walk through the forest. Like, I said that early on. I think it was the Knox, and they had all these shots of, and we had just established Peter, Apophis as this hugely powerful guy and the pilot and all that. Then the next time we see him, he's walking through the forest. Like, this guy, yeah. I was like, well, that's what I said. I said, well, can't we get like some more extras and like have like a thing that they're carrying him, like not like this god who is just like strolling through the forest. Yeah, that was always one thing. But what it came down to obviously was money. You know, so we didn't have the money that, every time, you know, we saw, you know, Apophis or whoever, you had to have 40 guys with them. So it was just a function of money. But it was odd though.
Don't you think like the Goa'uld are almost like olden day us with being almost a little sexist with the Jaffa?
A little sexist?
Yeah. Like only having male as their warriors?
That's a pretty deep question for Well, I tried to kind of explain that in Birthright. I tried to kind of explain that the kind of doctrine in Birthright where where they would kill the females, right? They would kill every female until they had a male. You could have one female, and this particular Jaffa would take the female girls and they lived on this certain planet. So I tried to do that as kind of an explanation for why there was only male Jaffa, and so yeah, but you're right. It was a little sexist, wasn't it?
So in episode 200, you covered a lot of really cool TV series. If you could add in a little segment of another TV series that you could like a spoof of, what would it be?
Oh, come on, you know what I'm gonna say. It would have been the Big Bang Theory. Oh, definitely. I mean, because let me see. Yeah, I mean, duh.
You could be Pete. Why you keep
That would have been the comedy if I. Who would be who though? I think Shakespeare would have to be Walowitz.
Sheldon.
No, Rick would have to be Sheldon. Rick would have to be Sheldon.
Samantha.
Just by the I would have to be Raj. Sorry, there's nowhere else to go.
Howard after a couple of drinks.
God, I love that show. On the plane over, I was, they had like all of last season that you could watch. So I'm watching this and I'm crying laughing, and I don't realize that everyone. What the hell's wrong with this guy? Huh? Oh, I know.
Because when we go back 12 months, we buy it for us, because she's the one that got us into this Big Bang Theory. We have to wait till we run out of things to house. I mean, you can't help but laugh.
I know.
One of the TV series when you have to pause just to finish laughing.
I get it, all right. Oh God! I was watching the episode after the last episode I saw before I got the plane was the one where the episode after Raj and Penny, well, they shut together, and when Raj says, well, "Can you tell people that I ruined you for life?"
My favourite line is, "You did that and you still can't."
Oh God, I love that show. Anyway.
If no one would pay you to act, what would you do? If you can get any money for acting, what would you do?
Did you ever see Magic Mike?
We're confused. Can you show us?
Never heard of it, demonstrate.
I think this is your audition.
No, what would I do if I couldn't act? I'd probably coach.
What did you want to do when you were a kid?
Act.
Act.
Yeah. That's.
First job.
My very first job was Nightmare on. No, wait, was it Nightmare on Elm Street? Which one has Jason?
Friday the
Friday the 13th, where they're on the ship. That one where they went up on the. No, it was
New York.
Wall was way before that.
New York.
Huh?
When you
Jason Takes New York?
Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
That was the first job I ever got hired for. That was my first. And I was the first one they hired, and they hired the rest of the kids, and I was a foot taller than everyone. So I didn't actually get to do it. So my first actual paying job that I actually got to shoot, I had my own show right out of college. In the early days of Fox, they had no programming. So what they did was they had 4 regional contests in the United States to host your own kind of MTV kind of talk show. And you play music and interview local celebrities and whatever. So I won the Northwest one. So that was actually my first paying thing. But my first actual film or television was Bird on a Wire. With Mel Gibson. My first scene ever was with Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn. And
That'd be scary.
oh my God.
Wow.
Well, the thing is, my first scene, I have to drive down this alley that's a little wider than the truck I'm driving, through the sidewalk with pedestrians, go do this hook turn and skid into this parking space, jump out, holster my gun, and run onto the car, stick my gun in Mel's face, and say, "Freeze, don't move." So first take, and the stunt coordinator comes up to me and says, "Look, we're going to have pedestrians crossing in front of you as you're driving down the alley. They're all stunt people. They'll get out of the way. Do not slow down." Okay. So I'm dripping with sweat. I'm so nervous. So I gun this thing, and everyone, except for one lady, who just freezes and stands there. And so I'm trying to decide now, are they doing this so she'll jump out of the way, or is this, she never moved. So I hit the brakes, and literally, it came that close to her. So now, she wasn't a stunt person. She was just a passerby who the ADs had thought that she was part of so she's just walking.
Oh my God.
So the stunt coordinator calms me down, and I'm just, so finally get to, just forgot about you. So I'll just finish this up. So the second take, I actually do make it to where I have to do this hook turn and get into the deal, and so I drop my gun as I'm getting out. Cut. So this happens 2 more times. So then I finally go to the alley, hook turn, get out, unholster my gun, go around, stick my gun in Mel's face, and I say, "Freeze or I'll shit!" gonna say. And it's dead silent. And then I hear this. It's Goldie, who's just killing herself laughing. And then finally everyone starts laughing. And then things went pretty smooth from that. But then, so now we have to do the fight part of it, where Mel kicks me into this table of diners, and the table breaks and collapses. So we get to that part. I fly back into the table splinters, and I hear cut, but the cut doesn't sound like a normal cut. It's a cut! And I look, and the table has splintered and struck one of the extras in the jugular. So blood is going 8 feet in the air. And so they have to, do all that, get the thing pressurized, and so they have to do this whole thing where the ambulance comes, and I'm literally just sitting on the curb going, well, welcome to show business. True story.
Okay, so we've got one last thing, because, we just can't wring enough money out of Gold Pass people. So we have a picture of a giant head.
Wait, does that mean the same thing here?
Yes, it does. And to see it, you have to turn the poster around.
You might need a longer poster.
So we're going to get Chris to sign this, because why the hell not?
But
And then it will be worth at least something more than the poster. And I'll pass it over to Maddie, because she says she's good at this.
Yeah, she's good at wringing money out of us.
Okay. Bill, I can't really get Chris to do this. Okay.
I can sign it for him.
Julie, go see
I got 50 Richard Dean Andersons down there I've been working on. No, Jesus Christ, no.
Okay. Here we have a mint condition about to be clear-faced. Okay. By Christopher Judge. Do I have an opening bid?
$50.
$50. I have $50 once. Over there. Do I have 60? 60?
Yep.
$60. All right. Back in your court. Come on. 65. I'll take that. Kim. Kim, I know you got a bit more money, sweetie. Oh, we got another bid over here. How much, sweetie?
Everything's closed.
$75. Okay, 75. Come on, Kim. You can't let them have it at 75.
I'll read you the caption.
Wow.
It says, love and peace, beware the double fist.
At the moment. Who is going to, after that, take one? Okay, how much, darling? Sorry? $80. Come on, $80. Come on, come on. Who's
90.
90? I have 90. 100. 100. What about it? Kim? Kim?
How much is that, Kim?
Where's Richard? He's not here.
Okay, fuck it off.
Okay, I've got $100. Can I have 105?
Yep. No.
Excellent.
110.
110. Can I have 120? 120. I've got 120. Come on. 125. 125. Excellent. 130. Can I have a 140?
The giant head of Christopher
Can
Judge.
I have 140? Okay, I have 140. Can I have 145? 145. Okay, 140. Going once. I will take 141. No, I go.
No, we won't take $141.
$141. Going once.
Do you accept credit card?
Yes.
Yes.
145.
145. Okay.
150.
All right. He wants it, guys. 150. 150. Can I have a 155?
155.
Excellent.
160.
160.
165.
170. I love this guy. Okay. 170. Can I have 175? Kim.
What are you? I don't know.
Okay,
She's really, really cheap, guys. She Can we make
Yes.
Richard pay $300
Yeah.
for these?
I do. Okay, 170. Can I have 175? Anybody? 175. Can I? 180. So, okay, someone just outbeaten. Okay, 180. 180 going once. 180 going twice.
200.
Ooh. Everybody, congratulations. The big clap. 200. Yes. Well done. Okay. 200. What is it?
220.
220.
Oh.
Okay.
That's getting vicious. Careful.
He's thinking.
He was
He's
waiting. He was going to
thinking.
wait and just sit until the last
He's
minute.
thinking. Okay. 120.
We're not getting groceries.
220 going once.
230.
230.
240.
240. 240 over here, Kim. 240 going once. 240 going twice. Sold. 240. Well done.
That's why everyone's getting any money out.
It's going to
Australia.
Armageddon needs to pay Chris's bar tab bill.
You bringing out more posters then?
When we get back to the hotel tonight, he's going to go, that poster, right? There's a cognac up there, I like it.
Thank you for taking it.
Now beat him with it.
Does that mean the same thing?
We'd have to pay a lot more for that.
Hey, thank you all so much. It's been a blast. And education.
Well, thank you. This was the last panel that we're technically 10 minutes over, we weren't finished. So give them a round of